Side story. The day before it began. Oh, come on! I don't want a side story right now. I want to know what the fuck happened. In that case, I will follow after taking care of things here. Sir Ale, please go ahead. When Nathan Zuckerman uttered these words, he was seized by an unusual sentiment. Such a sentiment would have been unthinkable for him in the past. Currently, in a critical situation where his sole lord and master, the one and only object of his loyalty, might be in danger, it was unthinkable to send someone else ahead while staying behind. To those who knew Nathan Zuckerman, it would have been obvious. However, these words were not spoken impulsively. They were infused with clear rational judgment, trust, and unspoken intention. Would the black-haired man before him understand the weight and meaning behind Nathan Zuckerman's words? Nathan quickly dismissed such thoughts as unnecessary. The man in question, Udir Ale, who had never once shown surprise or dismay in the face of enemies, hesitated for the first time. Finally, Udir Ale, cautiously yet deliberately, met Nathan Zuckerman's gaze and asked, "Is that all right?" This question was not born of a lack of confidence in his position or out of concern for Nathan Zuckerman's feelings. The expression fleeting across his slightly dirtied pale face seemed to understand more about the significance and incredibility of Nathan Zuckerman's statement than Nathan himself. The question was possible because of their mutual understanding and the values they both held dear, encapsulating a strange yet profound respect and trust. The man before him understood the elements that Nathan Zuckerman valued to an utmost unbelievable extent. At that moment, Nathan Zuckerman managed to completely resolve the unusual sentiment he had felt. His gaze, regaining its usual calmness, rested on Udir Ale's face. "You possess the power to move faster than me, don't you? And if it's related to the cavalry, it would be better if Sir Ale goes." It was a purely rational judgment. No matter how far Nathan Zuckerman's physical abilities and swordsmanship surpassed those of ordinary men, it was difficult to move faster than someone who could leap upon the wind and cross the skies. Moreover, in terms of skills, Udir was one of the few in the world whom even a swordmaster like Nathan Zuckerman could not easily confront. And furthermore, though unspoken, both men were aware of another reason: the relationship between Kishir Lahore and Udir Ale. Nathan Zuckerman's only lord held the black-haired man before him in the highest regard, more than anything in the world. Who else could understand what that meant as well as Nathan Zuckerman? He remembered a scene he had witnessed recently during Udir Ale's unexpected heat period. His lord had held Udir, growling like a beast deprived of its senses, tenderly yet securely, sitting quietly in the darkness of a rocky crevice, ensuring no harm came to him. The look in his eyes filled with gentle reassurance yet unmistakable sorrow. Without saying a word, his inability to take his eyes off Udir clearly revealed to Nathan Zuckerman what Udir meant to Kishir. Udir Ale had become, was, and would continue to be Kishir's only exception. However, it was crucial that this was not just a one-sided feeling on Kishir's part. To Udir Ale, Kishir was also the only one. The attitude Udir displayed during his heat period, fiercely desiring Kishir in his delirious state, was not something that sprung from nowhere. Beneath his seemingly calm and cool demeanor, Nathan Zuckerman had always glimpsed a similar flame flickering in his wild eyes. That intense raw flame, never shown to others, even made Nathan hesitate briefly when he caught a glimpse of it. His lord had accepted it with great joy. Something unimaginable from their usual demeanor naturally flowed between them when together. Despite knowing each other for less than a year, the depth and breadth of their relationship felt as vast and unfathomable as an ocean, often surprising Nathan with its intensity. Understood. In the silence, Udir, who had been intently looking at Nathan, slowly nodded his head. It was not a mere acknowledgement, but a clear gesture of gratitude for Nathan's decision. "I will follow shortly." Someone had to stay behind to handle the aftermath here. Given his experience, Nathan's choice was undoubtedly the best. Nathan Zuckerman watched quietly as Edith swiftly disappeared, stepping into the wind. His thoughts drifted back to his time in Paleta, especially to the time when Kishir faced constant threats of death. Nathan, repel everyone inside the castle and get out. That's an order. The day had begun under an ominous sky. Dark clouds shrouded the heavens, and an unusually sticky breeze pressed unpleasantly against the skin. The terrible pain from a recently cracked vessel has worsened, and Kishir, lying in bed, looked so haggard it was difficult to bear seeing his eyes open. His eyes, bloodshot from days of sleeplessness, was deeply sunken. His face, so thin that not a hint of flesh seemed left, was shrouded in an unmistakable shadow of death. The smell of rotten blood, which he had been coughing up for days, clung to his body, refusing to dissipate no matter what. Struggling to maintain his sanity amidst the chaos, Kishir's famed beauty still shone through, eerily reminiscent of a candle flickering before it extinguishes. With great effort, Kishir shifted his shadow-draped eyes to look at Nathan Zuckerman, gasping for breath. Between his labored breaths, the sound of boiling blood could be heard. Go out, as I mentioned before. Your Grace, go. It seems it will start soon. As he spoke, blood burst from his nose and eyes, a sign of worsening condition. Kishir stopped Nathan Zuckerman from approaching with an outstretched hand and then coughed violently for a long time. It was a struggle to swallow the screams of agony and meet his end with some semblance of humanity. Nathan Zuckerman had never once disobeyed his orders immediately, but that time, for the first time, he hesitated to follow the command. However, Kishir, as if reading the reason for his hesitation, raised his head and shouted clearly, "Why are you still here? Your last duty isn't to stay by my side. No need to answer, go." Confronted with Kishir's unmistakably disappointed gaze, Nathan Zuckerman clenched his teeth and turned away. He realized it was time to accept that he could no longer do anything for his lord. Kishir had wanted to be alone at the moment of his death. Knowing the cases of previous imperial family members who had walked a similar path, the stronger the inherent power, the more horrific and intense the backlash at the end. Nathan knew that if Kishir's vessel, strong and diverse in power, were to break completely, it could potentially bring down the entirety of Paleta Castle. Therefore, he had previously instructed Nathan Zuckerman on what needed to be done when the time came. Nathan Zuckerman gathered the few who remained in the castle and led them outside. Afterward, he had to evacuate those gathered outside the castle gates, worried about the Duke, and prepared the knights to guard against any unforeseen aftermath. "Please leave. The Duke has given his orders." The only ones left in the castle were essential servants, a few Paleta knights, and a handful of retainers. They were fiercely loyal to Kishir but remained unaware of the true reason behind their young duke's prolonged suffering and imminent death. They vaguely assumed it to be an incurable and dangerous illness. Kishir had pre-arranged for those remaining in the castle to leave the moment his orders were given, preparing for his death. Most cooperated, but that did not mean they fully understood the situation. It's unthinkable that no one can be with Duke at his deathbed. Despite being prepared, when the moment arrived, none could move calmly. Only one person among them, the cause and consequence of the situation, Helem, the mage who had been with Kishir since he came to the Paleta. She sighed. "So, it has come to this," and helped Nathan Zuckerman with a calm demeanor. Without her, the process would have taken much longer. The loyal knight, unmoved by the other's questions or grief, solemnly closed the castle gate and looked up at the ashen sky. The dark clouds, now heavier, occasionally flashed with lightning, casting an ominous blood-red light. This sight deepened the people's sense of dread and sorrow. Only a terrible silence, interspersed with muffled sobs, filled the air. Yet no one dared to suggest re-entering the castle. The reason was simple. It was against Kishir's wishes. Nathan Zuckerman, amidst a storm of pain, silently gazed at Paleta Castle. Kishir Lahore, to the very end, made a choice true to himself to protect others, to die in a somewhat human manner, and be remembered as such. In such circumstances, who could have reversed the Lord's decision and entered the castle? Even if Kishir himself would have accepted it, would he really? Even if the emperor and empress had been there, they wouldn't have opened the castle gates. But what about Udir Ale? If he had been in the same situation, could he have opened the gates? Nathan Zuckerman, watching the small figure of Udir Ale disappearing into the distance, quietly answered himself. He would have. Udir would have opened the gates without a second thought. This was a judgment close to certainty, formed from the time he spent observing Udir Ale. That's why Nathan Zuckerman had chosen to yield, and after finishing his tasks here, he planned to follow and see once more how right his judgment had been. Well, I hope the author kissed the bricks before she just threw them at me. Well, there goes my weekend hours trying to reread it to record it without crying.